current and inaugural TNA International Champion. There's so much happening with TNA right now. Live events descending on Pittsburg, June 20th and 21st.
I'm very pumped to be back in the Northeast. I think the world's kind of realizing how big TNA is. To me, it's one of the best shows that's on television for pro wrestling.
An NXT superstar in Trick Williams is holding the World Championship right now.
And it's kind of a letdown from Joe. To me, I'm the only champion right now in TNA that's it's worth a damn.
You had one of the most brutal matches in TNA history, the dog collar match with Eric Young.
It was a main event on TNA Impact, and it brought a lot more eyes to the product.
Once forgotten, but now will always be remembered.
For Tom to be able to tell my story, he knows me better than a lot of people. Awesome call for when I won my world title the first time.
Who is in your crosshairs, though, coming up to Slammiversary?
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.
My guest today is one of the most intense guys you'll ever see in the ring. He's a former TNA World Champion and the current and inaugural TNA International Champion. Holding that TNA line down for anyone daring to cross it. There it is, that beautiful strap. Get ready to tag him, bag him, and please welcome Bulletproof Steve Maclin.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It is so awesome to have you here.
I feel underdressed. I'm in a freaking comic book shirt and you're in a tux.
You are not underdressed, and the Wolverine is the perfect thing to wear, actually, to this interview. But there's so much happening with TNA right now. First, I want to go to those live events that are descending on Pittsburg, June 20th and 21st. Now, this is the first time that TNA is coming to Pittsburgh since 2011, but as you know, being there right now, this is a much different TNA that the Pittsburgh fans are going to get.
I'm very pumped to be back in the Northeast, and just even with Pittsburgh being there, we're coming to Pittsburgh now, and then even just the announcements of Rhode Island, which hasn't been since 2007. So just to be back in the Northeast for the next few months, with the build up to Slammiversary and then the post after Slammiversary for a live TNA Impact in Rhode Island is going to the energy is so awesome right now with TNA.
No, it is. I mean, it's no secret TNA is on fire. It's on that upward trajectory. I think it's cool because you've been able to be there. You were there to see Impact Wrestling turn back into TNA Wrestling and really catch this fire that it's just continued to be on. What do you think it is what's that special factor making TNA so much must see right now for everybody?
Well, I even think coming out of COVID when we were still Impact before the TNA rebrand, that fire was starting to burn and build up, and people were starting to realize we just didn't have a lot of eyes on the product. And then people were starting to notice it. And then when that TNA rebrand happened, that was just the burst of the bubble where we hit the ground running fully there. And I think the world's kind of realizing how big TNA is and how long it's been around for the brand that it is, for being TNA wrestling. And that's what it is. It's pro wrestling. To me, it's one of the best shows that's on television, or is the best television show for pro wrestling, because you get every bit of pro wrestling of whatever you're a fan of and you want to tune into, you're going to get it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think TNA has always been really good with that too. Like the variety of you have the knockouts, the X division, of course, the heavyweights. Like it's always given the fans what they want and delivered. One thing that Pittsburgh has never seen before when TNA goes there is who is holding the World Championship right now. An NXT superstar in Trick Williams. As a former TNA World Champion, I'm curious, what your thoughts are on someone who doesn't, technically work for TNA holding the World Championship.
I've seen it twice now in the company. Obviously with Kenny Omega when he held the title, and then now when I was coming into the company, and then now as Trick Williams being an NXT representative, but being the TNA World Champion, it's kind of a letdown from Joe. I know people were on this big high of Joe running there, and then obviously it's a letdown with that. And then I know Mike Santana just kind of got screwed out of it. I was pulling for Mike to bring it on home, but we'll see where that kind of goes. And it's also, what does Trick have to offer? What is he going to show the world that he is? He's walking around saying Trick and A, and not really sure what that is, other than his hit song at the beginning. But we'll see. Next week we have a 5-on-5 tag team championship challenge match. He's on my team, and I'm on a team full of people that I really don't like. And there's also a team across from me of people that I kind of had ruffled the feathers with in the past. So we'll see how it goes. But if Trick kind of steps out of line, I'm not afraid to drop him on his head with a KIA.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to hold the line down, and we'll see if you guys can coexist.
I've been telling everybody I'm holding the line. I'm the only champion right now in TNA that's it's worth a damn. So
Well, yeah, I was about to say, does seeing someone, not working with TNA, does that, make you want to represent TNA more as the international champion?
yeah, even before Trick did win the title, it was my goal, and it is still my goal, no matter what. That when you see the TNA International Championship on the marquee and Steve Maclin's holding it, that to me is the match to watch because I said it was going to be a workhorse title. I want to challenge all comers from all over the globe. I would love to travel all over the globe, and hopefully that's going to be happening soon
Yeah.
to defend my title and defend TNA wrestling, and just keep that name out there, and also let people know I am one of the toughest SOBs in pro wrestling right now.
Absolutely. I want to take it back to when you did make history and become the first international champion. What I thought was so cool, I was there at Unbreakable, and I thought it was awesome how everything building around that was highlighting that triple threat match that really helped put TNA on the map with AJ, Daniels, and Joe. Did you like how that was all kind of branded and then being in that main event triple threat match?
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the talent. Well, I'll tell you that because it's a match trying to live up to history, and that's the one thing I think with the history and for how long TNA's been around. It's TNA's always been good about that, especially behind the scenes with Eric Tompkins and everybody in the production team that is down in Nashville, and just when they put that together and it's really that you're like, oh crap, all right, we got to live up to Joe, Daniels, and AJ, and then those are three Hall of Fame names that you have to kind of put a little pressure on yourself to try to live up to, and it's you have to go out there and make it your own as well.
Well, it's cool because we saw the emotion come out from you after the match. But what is going through your mind as the ref is about to count three and you realize you're going to make TNA history?
Well, if hopefully, every time I hit my finish, I hope it works. I plan for it to work, but for the to hear that final three count was a really just uplifting moment for me, just because it lets me know that the faith that the company has in me and the people that have kindly finally gotten behind me now as kind of being the good guy in a way.
Yeah.
For the dastardly things that I've done in the past that got me to where I am now. I don't regret, but I also know that there's some things I have to make up for that'll probably come back to me at some point. But it is a good feel good moment, and it's just I'm having fun right now too. Most of all, representing TNA as the international champion, and then going out there and just kicking the ever living crap out of people, and then just the crowd loves it. I love it because I who doesn't have fun kicking the crap out of people?
No, tell me about it. But the belt itself, by the way, is beautiful. Like I remember
Yes.
when it was unveiled.
Oh, it is. It really brings out the blue in my eyes too, which I
Yeah.
love. So
I think it was unanimous amongst wrestling fans. Like that is one of the nicest belts that we've ever seen when TNA unveiled that.
yeah, a lot of people try to give flack for the color on the title. I think it just adds a little bit of difference from everything else, and that's to me. I don't know. I just love the blue. I grew up loving the white intercontinental title, and then
Yeah.
even when it was purple for that little bit, like just a little bit of difference in color, it just adds a little bit. And when all the titles look the same, it doesn't mean the me. It just there's no difference in it. There's nothing special about it. So to me, this is special. With the meaning it has behind it for the blue is all the oceans and all the countries
Right.
that are with
Right.
it. So it's really cool for the amount of meaning that went into creating this title.
No, absolutely. It's so cool to see you holding it as the first. I'm sure you were more focused on that main event triple threat, but were you watching at all the match that came before you, the barbed wire massacre with Mance Warner and Sami Callihan? Because that was an insane battle.
Yeah, I caught little bits and pieces there with the barbed wire massacre, and I've obviously been in a barbed wire massacre with Sammy Callahan and
Exactly.
Moose in the past, and I know the toll that it puts on your body. And then it's kind of hard to follow something like that too because you got so much gore and so much blood, and then obviously you're going out there afterwards wondering if there's pieces of barbed wire or thumbtacks or anything that's out there from the trash can, just any of the debris that's going to possibly affect your match. But I thought we delivered, and it was really an awesome moment to stand there in Vegas as the first ever TNA International Champion.
Yes, no, definitely. Well, I mean, you're already off to a fighting legacy with that title. You had what TNA branded, especially when they uploaded it, as one of the most brutal matches in TNA history, the dog collar match with someone you know very well, Eric Young. Where does that rank for you on brutality? I'm curious because you just mentioned the barbed wire match you had with Sammy, and you've had some serious fights in TNA. But where does the dog collar match rank?
It's up there just because it was a main event on TNA Impact, and it brought a lot more eyes to the product for people to subscribe to the app or even watching on Access TV. It's just no matter what I do, and anytime I go out that curtain, whether it's the opening match, middle of the card, main event, it's just I'm going out there to try to get as many eyes on as possible on TNA and to represent the company that I work with, and also just to make people know who Steve Maclin is. And I think people are starting to realize, or at least that opened a little bit more eyes. I'm like, okay, cool. This guy can kind of do everything. Don't mess with him in a certain way. I'm not afraid to bleed. I'm not afraid to the bumps and bruises. Like that's just who I am. I've always been just a gritty human being. Even before I went to the United States Marine Corps, I played football hard. I never left the field, and that's kind of how I brought that mentality, and that's how my parents raised me.
What have you learned working so closely with a TNA veteran like Eric Young too?
Well, he roofied me at a campfire, so that's one thing. But no, with working with Eric Young, it's really awesome. Like with the amount of veteran talent that TNA has in the back, in the locker room on the men's and the women's side, and just having as producers and even just people to go to for information. EY is just somebody that I always come to for ideas, or like, hey, I have the like this is what I'm thinking. I'm missing this piece. Like, what can make this work a little bit better? And like that's just kind of like how you would use a producer behind the scenes. And it's just he's always just good to go to for some advice that way, or even just talking life. We talk about our dogs all the time because we're big avid dog lovers. Like we have three, and he has a few dogs at his house, and we're always sending each other photos. And it's really cool to just have a relationship outside of wrestling, but also within the wrestling world.
Yeah, and to be able to create the magic that you did, that you have, but with especially that brutal dog collar match was awesome. So we saw what happens when the collars are on, how it kind of changes the style of wrestling. How does the wrestling style change when your arms are tied behind your back, though, like they were against Josh Alexander?
You just kind of figure it out. I don't know. I kind of went in my Mel Gibson bag of tricks of lethal weapon style things of how can I make this work? And when we came up with the idea of zip tying my hands together, we wanted to pay off kind of the story that we've been telling because I was zip tied previously before that. And it was Tommy Dreamer didn't think I was going to be able to get up without any hands. And I literally I put the zip tie, I got zip tied on while we're doing some walkthrough of stuff. So here's some behind the scenes thing. Laid down and stood right up. He goes, well, I was wrong. So it's just funny to how like you kind of navigate through certain things, but and then just try to make things work and be different too. I think TNA has always been a staple of a place that people tune in and they see something different they haven't seen elsewhere. And not saying I would have been able to do that elsewhere, but I would have probably had to fight more of a tough uphill battle to get that approved. So it was just a lot of fun to try to do, and I thought we were very successful at it.
Yeah, it was very unique. I loved it so much of creativity. And we've seen some crazies. Oh, is that one of the dogs now?
Yeah, somebody's delivering a package.
I get it. No, trust me. But yeah, TNA has had some incredible creative concepts over the years. We heard a really brilliant line on commentary. I thought that it stuck with me, and I think with a lot of fans, but nobody knows your journey better than you. So I want to hear what your thoughts were on it. Once forgotten, but now will always be remembered. Do you think that reflects your journey so far and your career well?
Yes, that Tom Hannafin is one of my best friends in wrestling and in just in life. We talk pretty much every day. We just kind of BS about anything, or we just things that we have ideas, and I bounce a bunch of ideas. This is how wrestling goes: is you find your people that you can trust in and that will give you sound advice, whether it's good or bad. So it's always kind of cool to have those people, but to have him be able to be the voice of me when I can't speak or tell people how I want to feel, or I'm out there doing it through my emotions, through beating the crap out of each other or getting my ass kicked as well. But for Tom to be able to sit there and just be able to tell my story, and he knows me better than a lot of people, is really awesome and a really true gift to have a best friend on that headset.
Yeah.
And for him to deliver that line when I did win the title, it was a cool moment just because he saw my journey from when I started in NXT and then even now in TNA. It's a full circle moment, and it's something cool in my career that like I can hang my hat on of like I had an awesome call for when I won my world title the first time.
Absolutely. No, it was so cool to see, especially friends that followed along your journey until now. Well, we're also closing in on Slammiversary. I can't wait. I'm in New York right now, so I will definitely be going. That's New York City, July 20th, UBS Arena. We've seen you have some successful defenses over that international title. Who is in your crosshairs, though, coming up to Slammiversary?
Any and all challengers, really. I'm looking forward to what international talent actually steps up, and that's what I've been begging for, is to have international talent challenge me for this title. Will we get there at some point? Hopefully. We have a ton of international talent that's on the roster, but I guess we'll see. I'm very excited for Slammiversary. It's hopefully going to be a sellout, and I know everybody's busting their butt to sell that place out.
Yeah.
And then now with just the announcement for Rhode Island as well to have a live TNA Impact that next Thursday as well, and then the tapings as well the next day. It's just gearing up for the Northeast to just be a powerhouse right now for TNA and for people in the Northeast to see TNA.
It's huge. I can't wait. Like I said, I will be there, but we've got Slammiversary, July 20th, June 20th, 21st, the shows in Pittsburgh. I mean, TNA is on fire, like we've said. Steve, thank you so much for your time, taking a little bit of your time out of your day to come on here.
No, thank you again, Jonah. Thank you for having me on here. And yeah, if you don't follow me right now, it's on X at Steve Maclin, as well as Instagram, Pro Wrestling Tees, Shop Steve Maclin Store, and then TNAmerch.com as well. Steve Maclin for all your merchandise. My new bulletproof shirt's out there right now, so get it while you can.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.